Hello, everyone. This is Sherry Greenhouse, Managing Partner of CRM Exchange, and I'd like to welcome you to today's Technology Showcase, Business Intelligence and Analytics for the Contact Center. Now, today, Patrick Boats and Greg Cummings from VPI are going to show you VPI's business intelligence software that's designed specifically for contact centers from the ground up. This software can help you align and empower your entire organization. It helps you make that confident decision because you have clear and accurate information. And what's my favorite, you find surprises before they find you. So we do have two presenters. We have Greg Cummings, Director of Solutions Consulting for VPI, and with more than 15 years of professional experience, Greg has a real extensive background in contact center management, consulting, operations, and learning and development. Right before VPI, he worked as Director of Operations at a startup BPO, where he was responsible for building the overall business process, technology, and contact center operations. Our first presenter, you're going to hear from Patrick Boats, Vice President of Workforce Optimization for VPI. And Patrick's been a key figure in the customer care industry also for 15 years, serving in a variety of operational consulting and managerial roles. As Vice President, he focuses on those mission-critical aspects of analyzing and optimizing communications, workforce performance, business processes, and the customer experience. He's a highly acclaimed speaker, and his work's been published in a lot of different places. So now I'm going to turn this event over to Patrick.
Great. Thanks so much for the introduction, Sherry, and thank you all for joining us today. We really value your time and look forward to showing you a glimpse into some tools we really think will help you improve your contact center operations and customer experience. So just a little bit about VPI. We've been in business for over 20 years. I've been here for 12 years, and it's just a fantastic company. We have really a reputation for providing top-notch service and support, and we're always constantly innovating. We're located out of Southern California. That's where we're headquarters with offices throughout the world. I'm personally out of New Hampshire and New England here, where we're just starting to thaw out. And Ventana Research, which is one of the top analysts in the contact center space, just recently rated us #1 in customer assurance and #1 in product adaptability. So as you can see, we have a full suite of what's typically known as workforce optimization solutions or customer engagement optimization solutions, with the focus today being on business intelligence. But we have all these modules can mix and match with any of your existing tools that you have in your centers today, or they can be seamlessly brought together or purchased together. So the problem that we're solving, that we're really solving with this business intelligence and analytics tool is what we see in many contact centers that Greg and I go into, is that there's traditionally a lot of siloed information, right? So if you think about your unified communications, maybe you have, reports that span across your ACD, your IVR, your email and chat, and that alone is a big initiative, right? Kind of the multi-channel, the omni-channel experience. Then you have your workforce optimization tools. You may have one or multiple recording systems, quality assurance. Maybe you're doing it through an automated tool, or maybe still using spreadsheets or a homegrown system. Same for workforce management. Maybe those three kind of talk to each other, maybe they don't. HR typically has its own reports as well. And then you have your servicing apps, how the apps used by your agents to service the customers, whether it be kind of a tech support help desk app, a collections app, a CRM system, or something homegrown. Some of these systems have decent reports within and of themselves. Some don't, so we end up exporting a lot of the information into Excel. You think of the time it takes to create the reports you need. It could be days, weeks, or even months to get the information you need. So the challenge is with this siloed information is it's expensive, error prone, it's often too late, and not very actionable. So that's the challenge we're solving with VPI Intelligence, with this business intelligence tool designed for you. It's an easy and elegant fix. I'm showing a dashboard here, but it's much more than just dashboards, and Greg will show you when we get into the demonstration here. It breaks down these silos. So as you can see on this dashboard that I created and screenshotted, there's a variety of different widgets and indicators that you can drag and drop and add to your dashboards any way you like to see the information. So it could be some of the information that's important to you may come from the CRM system, like repeat calls, right? First contact resolution, is there's a one-to-one correlation with customer experience. So if we can improve that, but how do we track it? We track that typically through, information that's tracked in the CRM systems. Did someone call about this same reason within 7 days or within 30 days, whatever that threshold is? Some people track it through customer surveying. You could show that information here as well. So just kind of going around the horn here, you could have ACD information like service levels, calls in queue, wrap times. That alone adds tremendous value. You could have a dashboard created with just a data connector to your ACD and have all kinds of information here that would add tremendous value. These can also be put on to flat screen TVs, which are super cheap these days, right? You can get a nice big flat screen TV for $300, $400, plug it into a computer, and now you have wall boards throughout your contact center that match up with your dashboards. You have speech analytics, which actually takes the audio and transcribes that audio, so you can mine that and categorize your calls, maybe customer complaints, delighted customers, self-service failures, anything you want to show, from a speech analytics perspective. And then workforce management, right? Showing real-time adherence is a huge driver, and getting agents to do the work they're supposed to do when they're supposed to do it, if they can see that. We also offer the ability to create tickers. So agents and supervisors typically, while supervisors may also want a dashboard, it's nice to have this always-on ticker. And Greg will show you when he shows his screen, look right to the top, you're going to see this ticker, and the ticker is always on, and you can, again, drag and drop the metrics that you want. Any metric that we're capturing that's in the system can be put into dashboards, scorecards, tickers, and what this does is drive, kind of real-time self-management. So agents, supervisors can self-manage, see how they're doing versus their group. You can also show them versus their goals. They can see calls and queues, calls abandoned, anything that's important to you. This may be all collections, each metric could be in a collections environment, like promise to pay, dollars collected. It could be, upselling. If you're trying to start to upsell more to customers, you could put some of those metrics in. It may be all tech support, cases open, closed, things like that. So a lot of flexibility. The more connectors you have to various systems, the more powerful these become, because now you're seeing everything you need to see in one place. So we make it easy to connect to data. This is our experience. We've been doing this, as I mentioned, for 20 years, connecting to various systems. We started out 20 years ago connecting from a call recording standpoint, and then pulling more and more data in from various sources. So when we say, built for contact centers from the ground up, we have these connectors pre-built and more. So connecting to your unified communication system, pulling in that information is not difficult at all. And then we have several ways to connect to different applications, whether it be homegrown or whether you're using, a CRM tool or an ERP tool that has an API. Maybe it doesn't have an API. There's other ways we can connect to that data. We connect to surveying applications like enrollment and trading and radio dispatch applications as well for some organizations that, dispatch perhaps truck rolls, things like that from maybe in a cable industry or utility industry, and connect to that data as well. So the dashboards and this BI tool is really easy to customize and use. So you can drill through the indicators and the charts to really get a deeper dive and do a root cause analysis. Mobile access is great, and Greg will show you this. It's built in HTML5, so you can see everything resizes to whatever tablet you're on, whether you're on a smartphone or you know, an iPad tablet or an Android tablet. It will just resize accordingly, so you can see your data on the go as long as you have your privileges to log in securely. We show information in real time and or historical, and the ad hoc analytics tool is just awesome. You'll see, so for the kind of the business reporting analysts on the call, you guys will love this, where you can slice and dice data any way you want to see it. If that data is there, it allows you, you get those requests for custom reports, right, from executives. You're able to easily create those and deliver those much quicker than you could in Excel or some of the other tools that are out there. And then publishing the dashboard is near and dear to my heart, right? So I've worked with several tools where you have to create a dashboard on everyone's computer, and what we allow is just the ability to create one and push it out to all your supervisors, and at least they have a great starting point. They can then customize it for them, or maybe push it out to your QA analyst, so they have a great play a great workspace, if you will. We often call the dashboards workspaces, and I'll show you how you can Greg will show you how you can transform this dashboard into something that becomes a workspace to start all your work from as well. So the business value of BI, there's tremendous value here. You can make decisions with confidence, as Sherry mentioned. You're going to identify and solve issues much quicker. Everyone's kind of looking at the same information, right? It's just all rolling up. So you're empowering and aligning everyone within your organization. They all have the single view of the truth, if you will. You're going to drive motivation, performance. Those tickers alone, I mean, we've seen just tremendous results within a week, 2 weeks of implementing those tickers that come with the tool, because now agents are self-managing the way they handle calls and self-managing performance. And then obviously saving time and money by having everything automatically consolidating, and you're going to find a lot of places where you can actually make big improvements. And ROI, we focus a lot on ROI with this tool. We have a really great ROI calculator, so we're happy to help you build a business case and show you how you can not only save money but make money with the tool. So why contact center BI versus other BI tools? So there's several generic BI tools out there that are used on a more enterprise level. They're very service intensive, and they typically require a lot of IT involvement. So we really made it a focus to make it easy for contact centers to implement and get value quickly. Some of the differences and advantages that the VPI tool offers is we have pre-built data connectors to all those various systems. So it's literally a plug and play, and then we decide what metrics we want to capture and pull into the system for you to report on and use in your tickers and scorecards and dashboards. We have over 500 metrics built out of the box, and we have a metrics designer which allows you to adjust those metrics or create new metrics, right? You may want to see data in a different way, or maybe you track, service levels differently than they're typically tracked, or you may have, a productivity metric which combines several different metrics into one. You can easily create that using our designer. We have balanced scorecards, which Greg will show, the ability to weight metrics, so you have an overall score. So maybe it's 20% times adherence plus 5% times quality plus 20% times CSAT and so forth. So you can put whatever metrics in, you can weight them and come out with a balanced score, and then agents and teams can get ranked based on that score for things like shift bids, right? That's huge nowadays, being able to see where you rank in real time, so you don't have to wait till the end of quarter to figure out where you're going to be in terms of choosing your shift or vacation time. Mentioned tickers and wall boards. Also briefly touched upon structured and unstructured data. So structured data is typically, you know, the numbers, the metrics that come in, you know, from various systems, whether it be a CRM system or sales or collections or your ACD. And then the unstructured data is we have the ability to mine the actual interactions themselves, the audio, the text, and actually turn that into more of structured data. So we categorize them, which Greg will show as well. Automated coaching and reminders is a great advantage in that you can based off performance thresholds, you can automatically send coaching to people who are falling below either in certain quality areas or maybe performance areas where they need help, maybe introducing a new product or reminders, hey, you didn't offer, you know, assistance on how to use the website. Please remember to show the customer how to use the website to self-serve or whatever it may be. Integrated recording, QA, and WFM and WFO. So we pull all those pieces together into one kind of seamless experience. Some of you may be in the market for recording and QA and WFM. Those pieces just seamlessly fit into the solution. And then obviously our expertise in the area. We really look at becoming a trusted partner, a trusted advisor with you versus just kind of selling you software and saying, hey, you guys go ahead and make this work. We'll work with you to show the results. So what are some of those results you can expect? Typically, and this could be within weeks, you see some of these, especially if you're empowering the front line, the agent supervisors, usually about a 10% decrease in talk time, wrap time where agents tend to hide out. You'll see even a bigger improvement, right? So that's a great place if you don't want to focus on talk time as much because you want to provide a great experience on the call and solve their issue, you know, on the first call as much as possible. Well, you can still improve quite a bit usually by focusing a little bit more on wrap time. And agents see that, right, how they're doing and that they're going over, and they kind of speed things up. Customer experience, so speed of answer, abandon rate, you'll see really nice jumps in that typically. And then any type of sales, upselling environment or collections environment, it's just amazing how competitive agents are, and it creates this really healthy competition when they can see how they're doing versus other and how they rank, and just this immediate uplift just by providing the ability to self-manage. At this point, I'd like to turn it over to my colleague, Greg Cummings, who will take you through a tour of VPI Intelligence and show you some of the great ways you can leverage it to enhance your operations.
Okay, thank you so much, Patrick. I appreciate that. And I'm going to make this full screen for everyone that's out there in the audience. And I'm going to bring my screen up right now. So again, just like Patrick had mentioned, thank you everyone for joining us today. We really do appreciate you guys spending the time with us. I'm trying to get my taskbar up here. Apologize. There we go. Okay, so like Patrick mentioned, we're going to take you through and explore the VPI Contact Center Business Intelligence module and really give you that glimpse into, right, what does it actually look like? We can show you PowerPoints, we can show you screens, but we want to show you it actually working in the product. As we go through this, I want to echo what Sherry had mentioned, which is if you have questions, please pop those in the Q&A. We want to address those and answer those at the end. And if any of this is piquing your interest and you want to have follow-on further discussions, right, we're going to put our contact information up at the end of the webinar, and we welcome you guys reaching back out to us, and we'll be happy to spend more time with you and take an even deeper dive into all things VPI. So what are we looking at right now, right? We're looking at that dashboard. This is one of those components that is going to be a game changer for anyone in the organization who needs to consume data and then start to drive actionable change based on that information. Now, I did see one question come across through the QA as Patrick was going through the initial presentation. It says, hey, do those scale appropriately for mobile and tablet devices? And Patrick did touch on that, but I want to show you. So all I am right now is logged into a internet browser, right? And I've logged into the VPI product, and you can see in the upper left-hand portion of the screen where it's highlighted blue that I'm on my VPI dashboard. This is my landing page into everything VPI that we're really exploring and talking about today, where we've driven that change into the contact center from a business intelligence perspective. Now, we've got our various other modules that we offer because VPI is a full WFO suite, right, for workforce optimization. We're really going to focus on that business intelligence component. So I've just logged into a regular browser. I can start to see, and we're going to break this page down in a second, but watch how quickly this view scales when I look to minimize this to about the size of an iPad. You see how it automatically updated the view because we're using and building on the latest technology, HTML5, and it's going to allow us to continue to progress in the future. We spend a lot of time with R&D and thinking about what's going to be the next evolution. So I've just scaled this down to about the size of an iPad, and I can see my entire dashboard has immediately scaled. It didn't have to refresh each individual component. I can scale this down even further, and as I bring this down to, I don't know, the size of an iPhone, everything automatically updates. I've got my visibility into my dashboard component. So yes, mobile friendly. We want to get it in your hands. One of the big pushes that I've seen in contact centers, I know Sherry has, and anyone who works in this space, we got to get supervisors and managers mobile again, right? We want to get them out of their desks. We want to get them on the floor, engaging with the agents, and ensuring that they can provide that level of interaction that's necessary for the agents to perform and really excel, and where we can put this kind of visibility into their hands on a tablet device of some kind, it really is going to allow them to start doing more of that, which is a big push that I'm making with all my customers, right, when we go out and consult and work with these different organizations. So let's start to break down the dashboard a little bit. As you can see, it has a number of indicator widgets along the top of the screen, right? A number of tech support calls that have maybe been taken today. What's our current average quality assurance score for the month, right? My number of transfers, oh, we're below goal, right, because we've had X amount. So we can change the color of these based on a threshold that's been defined. Our average handle time for our support team. New orders that have been processed that are over $1,000, right? We want to call that out and kind of make that green. Total orders processed. So each of these indicator widgets, right, can be configured. You can use any data that's available that VPI is collecting, and Patrick touched on that. And it's really key that everyone understands. For us, data is one of those components that we want to consume. We want to bring in data from your CRM system. We want to go connect up to Salesforce. We want to go bring in survey data, right? We want to bring in all of your telephony data from your Avaya or Cisco or other platforms that allow us to show you handle times and talk times, right? And create that unified view. But a little bit more than that is, what if this became a workspace? Well, when you look at the two widgets below, the indicator ones at the top, this is my evaluation task list. Oh, do you mean I can just click on this and start to do a quality assurance evaluation? Yes, you can. We want to eliminate the hunting and pecking for calls. Automatically assigning high-value interactions to be evaluated and putting them on a to-do list is critical in improving efficiency and in targeting the right types of calls that need to be evaluated. And I want to make that process seamless for the end user, right? Let me just have a work list to start from. We can double your efficiency when we do that automated assignment. I want to look at the high-value calls or maybe certain calls that might have been flagged and that maybe as a manager I need to go review them because a supervisor said this might be the call of the week that we're going to go and give, a $10 Starbucks gift card to. So I can have, again, not just views into metrics, but views into metrics and workspaces where I can actually interact with this. I can play calls directly from this view and not ever have to leave my dashboard. Here's, right, align indicator, agency QA score, monthly trend. Oh, but what if I wanted to dig a little deeper on this? Yes, you need to be able to do that. I need to be able to interact with this. So when I select a data point, it's going to automatically chart that out, and now I can start to use range selectors, move through the data view, see what it's displaying, and even drill down to some of the tabular data, right? Because it has to be interactive. You have to be able to explore the data, not just look at a data point, but actually get in and explore it. Another view that I have built out on my dashboard is show me all my calls that have been automatically categorized by the system this month. And when we talk about call categorization, it's not just speech analytics. It could be data analytics that are allowing us to categorize calls. And when I start to categorize calls, I get better visibility into where I need to start focusing change in order to improve the overall efficiency of the organization. Right? I can see here my customers that are dissatisfied. I can see I've got billing inquiries, and you can see my categories down here at the bottom in my legend. And as I hover over one, the color changes, so it shows me which one it is. I can see the value. I can drill down into this as well, and it's going to expand that out, right? And I can continue to drill through it. So being able to build fluid, right? Flexible is too rigid, right? We got to be fluid in our ability to create customized dashboards, get visibility, and these are things that can be published, right? Say I've got a team of supervisors, but I'm the business intelligence guy. I could really create a really great dashboard and publish it out to all the supervisors. One of the great things we've done is we've built on the notion of me and my. And that's an important concept that I want everyone to kind of, think about for a second. The me and my concept allows a supervisor to receive a dashboard or a manager. And if it's based on the my concept, right, when it's built out, it's going to be everyone that I have access to or my direct team, right? Those are my users. If we're publishing a dashboard to an agent, that's a me concept. So we've got the me and the my. A lot of thought has really gone into how we construct dashboards and how to make it easy to use. I can simply, on the left-hand side, take your eyes to the left side of the screen for me. You're going to see I've got various views that I can roll into. Right? For maybe just my quality analyst, I can jump into a quality workspace, right? And see how quickly this reloads and builds, showing me the total calls I've evaluated today, my team's average QA score. Here's my task list. Oh, here's my completion status. That's just a rolling view. And again, see how these indicator widgets automatically, right, just start to update as I scroll with this range selector. That's the latest technology. That's the experience we want everyone to have. And now I've got a widget down at the bottom of my screen allowing me to jump into all my reports. So if I want to run a quality report, a Cisco report, an interaction report, right? And again, this is just another simple view, right? And I can quickly jump right back to my dashboard. It's going to build itself out. And when I talked about easy to use, right, I'm going to touch on this for a second. It really needs to be easy to use. I'm in my edit mode right now, and I could simply add a new widget, or I can edit any one of these. I could scale things to different size. I can make them bigger or smaller and personalize it. That's an important concept as well. We want to be able to personalize the view that everyone is experiencing. And when I look to add a new component, right, if I want to add a new widget, it's a simple 4-step wizard process. That's what it should be. That experience doesn't need to be complicated because we want to get away from that. Shelf software is prevalent in organizations because it's difficult to use, right? I need a ton of training. I got to go ask questions. I was in training and development for a long time, and I know that retention levels, right, during a training class, and you got to have follow-up, right? So we've made it very simple and easy to use. We've got a great help and support system built in. We've got product videos. We do a great job of really thinking about the end user's experience, and that's really what's critical to us. So all I simply do is walk through this creation process, and at the end of that, I have a new widget that's on my dashboard, and I can publish this as a template. Take your eyes to the kind of upper left portion of the screen. I can edit my view. Maybe I want to delete this. I want to go back, I'm going to start over with something new, or I can create it as a template and publish it. And I can roll through multiple different views that I have available, right? I might have a team view that I want to look at, right, which is going to show me, again, a couple of key things. One of those would be, oh, you mean I can have a balanced scorecard right on my dashboard? That's a powerful concept. So how's my team performing, right? I can have individual agent scorecards. I can have a team scorecard. And again, when we talk about balanced scorecard, we want to say a certain metric or a KPI, like I'm highlighting in the middle, right, has a certain weight. Each of those weights add up, right? And then we can show the metric value, provide the scoring and the ranking. So being able to embed and build your balanced scorecards and have that one-stop shop, that's what's really critical, is creating views that allow me to do what I need to without having to dig through layers and layers and layers in a product, right, to find information and then extract it and review it. I want to be able to use workspaces, visibility into the metrics that matter, and be able to take action directly from that view. Now, I'm going to take us back to our main dashboard view that I was on. And now I want to take, because we're talking supervisors, managers, executives, directors. Those are the folks that are going to generally consume these very robust next generation business intelligence dashboards. Now, what is the agent's experience? Well, take your eyes to the very top of the screen, right? And I'll just minimize this again for the mobile view, right? But take your eyes to the very top of the screen, and what you're going to see up there is what we've talked about, and Patrick really highlighted some of that capability, is the agent desktop ticker. Again, it goes a long way towards ability to improve and let the agents have some control in how they perform, right? Empowerment is critical, and that's one of the reasons why we call our product, right, the VPI Empower Suite. It's about empowering agents, empowering users to really drive change at the organizational level. When you present to an agent their current talk times, their after-call work, maybe their total sales they've made, promises to pay if they're in a collections environment, what their current schedule adherence is, what's my month-to-date QA score, how many calls are in queue, and when I can build out multiple views, all my quality management statistics, right, all my queue statistics, I can display up to 33 different KPIs on a very small desktop footprint. Think about what this would do for your work-at-home model, right? Everyone raise their hand if they're trying to work on building out their work-at-home force and have maybe had some challenges with how do we communicate effectively? How do we keep them engaged? How do we ensure that they're feeling like they're part of the team? Because they're at home, right? And that's a struggle. I recently worked with a large banking institution that has seen an increase in their attrition, actually, when they went to a work-at-home model. They expected the opposite because there was a lack of engagement. So when you have work at home and you want to engage them and get them involved, give them a desktop ticker. Be able to send messages directly to them, right, and ensure that they're acknowledging those by tracking if they've selected that they've reviewed that message, right? Show them their statistics and those key KPIs. When you start to layer in these tools like robust business intelligence dashboards, agent desktop tickers, this starts to really change the game in how you approach the management of your contact center. I know a lot of good questions are probably being compiled right now, so again, put those in that Q&A box. And if we can't get to all of them, we're going to want to follow up and we're going to want to talk to you some more. Tickers, amazing what you will get from your workforce when you start to put that level of visibility out there. And those can be completely customized. You can build them yourself. Again, it's not like you have to come to VPI for a massive, 2-year professional services engagement. They're quick to deploy, and there's a ton of value right out of the box when you start to utilize those desktop tickers. Same thing you're going to experience with the dashboards. Now, continuing on, just talking a little bit more about the analytics component, and I'm just going to scroll back down, the ability to have your data categorized automatically. This is really where you're going to start to see where you need to focus campaigns. So additionally, getting into some of more ad hoc tools for data analysis, again, what we've done is provide you a way to kind of categorize your calls. So as you can see, I've got on the left-hand side, this is my global kind of what's happening view. When we start to pair speech analytics with data analytics and we start to categorize that data and gain visibility, I'm seeing that my most used categories, right, are listed here. My least used categories. What I want to draw everyone's attention to is this next segment, which is really critical. Largest increase in use versus the previous interval. Largest decrease. I'm seeing a large decrease in customers calling in to make a final payment. That's a good metric. Let me look at that a little bit further. Or I'm seeing a lot of customers calling in the last 30 days, because that's my interval period, asking for a refund. That's alarming. How do we address that? Well, first, let me go down a layer and listen to some of those calls. Just first, ad hoc spot check. You need to be able to interact with the reporting elements. So I don't have to go now search for all the calls that have that data point and spend another hour trying to figure that out, right? Let me just select this. And it's going to take me down to all of the interactions that VPI has captured and categorized as being a billing inquiry, a refund request, a canceled order, right? Now I can start to play these calls and I can start to review them. I can start to see how those calls were categorized and why and what my ranges were for the data. Jump back up a layer. Now I'm back to my view. So you really need to have well-vetted, right, information available that you can start to paint a better picture. So when you're talking speech analytics, data analytics, It's all about how you consume the data after the fact, which is really going to drive that change. And I can move through by objectives, because as an organization, we set core objectives. I can say, right, we've got objectives of billing, focusing on call center, effective selling, how we greet customers, quality of service. I can look at it right in the middle of the screen there, take your eyes by the number of interactions, maybe by duration, and being able to just drill down to these views of the data and have these charts automatically start to build for us all the way down to these bubble graph views. Again, it's about consumption and being able to just highlight a certain section and have it drill in and then take me all the way down to that call level, right? Let me look at the 16 interactions that made that up, and now I'm at that view. We want to step through reports. We want to get to the data without having a lot of additional manual interaction, right, by going through various modules. I'm starting in presentation views of reports, getting all the way down to the call level and consuming the data that's going to allow me to drive change. You want to look at trending of your categories? Okay, that's great, right? How do my billing inquiries, right, trend with my refund requests or my customers that are dissatisfied, right? Can I draw direct correlations between customers that are, having billing issues and they're dissatisfied? Maybe. Maybe this chart is going to tell me that. So data consumption, presentation views, really critical in your ability to drive change in the organization. And we do that through categorizing calls through the speech analytics platform, categorizing calls through the data analytics that we can capture from the various systems that we're integrating with, really allowing you to get that visibility into the application. Okay, let me take you to a couple more views. We talked about scorecards and kind of business intelligence. We've got business intelligence explorer views, which really allow us to create different views into the data and then go in a little bit deeper. For anyone out there who likes to kind of see tabular data views, right, those are available and you can enjoy these to your heart's content. I like pretty pictures a lot of times. Some people like to see, right, the data in a tabular form. You can drag and drop all your different columns. You can sort the data. You can choose to include or exclude data from your views. I can create custom ad hoc dimensional views of the data, right? Let me look at by agent, by month, and then choose to just on the fly seamlessly start to build a report, and then using my filters at the top, embed heat maps, embed chart views, right? Any of this, and I can drill down through. So as you can see, when VPI looked at business intelligence over the last, 2.5, 3 years as we've been preparing, right, and building this out, we thought of everything. We thought of what our customers need. And we asked our customers, because that's a big thing for us. What's going to help you be successful? What is not currently available to you as an organization that you really need? And it was data consolidation. It was presentation views that are going to allow me to drive change. It's my contact center is my most important center in my organization, and how can I help them? Well, you've got desktop tickers. You've got business intelligence dashboards. You've got custom analysis tools, right, for drilling through your data and understanding where your pain points are and how to drive that change. And when you layer that on top of, right, the various components offered by VPI, like our robust desktop call and screen recording, our, right, top-tier, best-in-class quality management application, right, our coaching and e-learning for continuous process improvement. You start to layer that suite together, it really does empower you and your organization to drive that effective change that you're looking for. These are just some of the highlights and things we wanted to focus on. We love to dig deeper with everyone who's on the phone, right? Contact us. I'm going to put that information up here in a second, and we're going to open up the Q&A in just a moment. But let me give just a quick recap before I do that. I first logged in, and I showed you a real system. This is my system here in the office, right? This is not just images on a PowerPoint that I was really good at mocking up and using Photoshop. This is a functioning application, mobile-friendly, right? Scales down, scales up. Building, creating robust dashboard workspaces, showing you the data you need to drive actionable change. We talked about our desktop ticker, the component that's really going to be a game changer for all your agents in your entire workforce. If you don't do anything, deploy one of those in the next 12 months, watch that improvement go through the roof. And then we dug into the ability to use our instant analyzer tools and our custom reporting analysis tools, right, to really drill through the data and get at what's meaningful for us to make change. Okay, so with that, Patrick and Sherry, I'm going to bring up the slide and put our contact information up here for everyone to view, and maybe we can open up the Q&A at this time.
Thank you, Greg. That was great. And we do have questions that came in. Patrick, if you can address, there's questions about what's available to the agents. Can they minimize the dashboard? What can they see, and how does it help the agent?
Typically, agents will get the desktop ticker where you want on the dashboard, or on the desktop. So the nice thing about that is it's kind of always on visibility. We have clients that make it super thin, so it's a few pixels tall. Some make it thicker, but that's the tool that they will typically use. And then supervisors will typically use that as well, but some prefer a full dashboard so they can see more information about their team. And then obviously get into management, the executive suite. It's almost exclusively dashboards, and at the executive level, it's center versus center performance, things like that. So we allow, based on roles and rights, you only have access to the data that from yourself and your team if you have rights to see that. So you can set up the rights anyway. And then if you're an executive, you can obviously see everything that you need to see across centers and across departments. So.
Okay. We're getting a lot of different questions on can you integrate with, and that's probably best handled directly with either Patrick or Greg, but just overall, there's a question about integrating with things like virtual agents and some other tools that may be out there.
Yeah, and I can take that one, Sherry.
Yeah, all the different ways we integrate.
I'd be happy to take that. So we have a number of different ways we can integrate with different solutions. I see through the chat one came about the Wilkie Global Consumer Response System, so the Wilkie CRM. We've actually done an integration with the Wilkie CRM for a very large beverage manufacturer. So yes, and the way we do those is we can either use a data collector, right, which would be a connector to a database on a back-end application, where we have read-only access, and we can bring that data in. Maybe it's every 10 seconds, maybe every 30 minutes, maybe once a day. So we can do a data collector to a database directly, populate that data into the VPI application, and then present it out in a metric view only, or if we want to associate that to a recorded interaction, maybe pick up the customer ID, their disposition, right, for the call and help you identify FCR issues a little bit earlier. So data collectors are one way. Customers can also utilize an API. So we have an open API, it's a REST API, that allows them to send us information that can be associated with the recordings that we capture, or just information that we might want to display as metric data as well. And also that API can facilitate stopping and restarting of recordings in the event you have PCI concerns, which if you're not thinking about PCI and you do any kind of credit card processing, right, I'd jump on that as soon as possible. So our API allows for the stopping of call recording and screen recording and the resuming, right, when they're done processing that sensitive event. And as well as the API can also facilitate a write-back process where we can actually send a URL to your CRM system, let's say, and link the call. So a lot of different ways that we can collect data, a lot of different ways that we can share information out using the API or a straight data collector to a backend. And we have done hundreds and hundreds of data collectors. Our out-of-the-box ones, Patrick had that slide up, right? You've got your Avaya CMS, you've got your Cisco UCC Express and Cisco UCC Enterprise. We've got Salesforce, we've got a Remedy CRM, we've got the Wilkie CRM. I could name off a list of hundreds of these different data points that we've collected to different survey environments, et cetera. So data collectors, APIs, we can even import a flat file, right? If you have a flat file Excel spreadsheet being posted somewhere that you've got data in that's relevant, we could bring that in. So we're very fluid in our ability to bring in and gather data, and then using the robust tools we have to present that back out and take action with it.
Do you have the ability to put a goal in the box? And so somebody can say, okay, I've met my goal, I haven't met my goal, and give stats on that goal. Greg?
Yes, Sherry, that's a great question. And each of the metrics that are built, and like Patrick mentioned, we have over 500 out-of-the-box KPIs or metrics, and then that number exponentially expands as you bring in other sources, and customers have the ability to create their own metrics. So either with an out-of-the-box metric or a metric created by a customer, they can set a goal, right? And they can also set a variance, right? So whatever, you can be within 2 points below or above, and you're still going to be at goal. Once you go outside of that range, it's going to be above or below. So you can set a goal or a threshold and a variance on any KPI that's in the application.
Greg, there's a question about resizing during the demonstration, and I think you showed that. Weren't you going up and down with size right before you stopped the desktop share?
Correct. So you can resize any of the dashboard views, and those are going to rescale accordingly. And even within the dashboard, you can resize and adjust the height and width and view of any of the widget components to really personalize and make it your own. What we do is obviously give everyone a template, kind of some starting base, because we know what most people in a lot of these contact centers are going to look for. It's like getting a painting. I like to use the analogy. It's, you couldn't give me a blank canvas and expect a great work of art. But if you give me a painting that is maybe 80% done and I just have to go do some coloring and some small tweaking, I might be able to give you something that looks halfway decent. So we have a lot of out-of-the-box templates that are available. You can publish templates, and then others can just kind of customize or modify them, but you have a ton of control with the ability to make that view personal to you, and also with the resizing, right, to be your mobile and tablet friendly as well.
And just to add to that, so, the out-of-the-box component, so a lot of people come to us just for better reporting, from their ACD environment, right? So we have a lot of out-of-the-box reports for various ACDs. I mean, like 40, I think, for different ACDs. So you can view things. We have reports by queue, by service level, by group, by interval. Every way you want to see the data, we probably have a report in there for that. So if you're struggling on with reporting on certain things from certain ACD environments, this is a great tool for that. Obviously, the more additional data connectors you bring in, the more valuable it becomes. But even just a lot of people as a starting point will start with a connector to their ACD system and just have a really robust reporting tool, on their phone system.
Okay, Patrick, I think you may be seeing some questions that I'm not able to bring up. So why don't you go ahead and ask those questions?
Yeah, there's a couple that were kind of directed directly towards me, but we'll put them out there. What's the typical deployment time for deploying the analytics capabilities and the wallboard type capabilities, and how real-time are the displays? Greg, do you want to take that one?
Definitely, I'd be happy to. So our typical deployment is normally 45 days from receipt of order when we kind of get it kicked off. So we've got a kind of a 45-day deployment schedule in most cases. Now that will where we will run a lot of things in tandem, right? The core implementation and then some of the services to do discovery to find out where our data collection points are going to be. The data collectors and those components are actually fairly quick to spin up. This is not a 6, 8, 12-month engagement where all of a sudden a year from now you're going to now be able to use these components. We've got a lot of this created out of the box. We've got a great world-class services organization that works with you to define the requirements, create the necessary collectors if we don't already have one built, and bring that data in. Our goal is to get you up and utilizing the solution that you buy as soon as possible and starting to gain immediate value from it. So we've got a very aggressive window. We've got a great project management team and an organization that really becomes a partner with you in your efforts to utilize VPI to make change. So in addition to the second question, how real-time are the displays? The real-time or the data is, let's just use a vaya as an example. So if we're bringing in all the data from your vaya environment, right, from maybe the CMS perspective, we do the historical data collection, but we're also making a real-time socket connection to a vaya as well. And when a metric changes, like calls in queue or my handle time, anytime that metric is recalculated because we have new data present, it's going to automatically update in any of the views that we build. So real-time, near real-time, within a few seconds, right, is the visibility that you're going to expect, provided the metric supports that. If it's a metric like, customer satisfaction, where we're waiting on data from a survey that's only going to come in once a day, then obviously that's going to update when we get it. But any data that's available and can be updated in real time or near real time is going to be updated at that interval.
Great, thank you, Greg. There's a follow-on to that. Does the real-time require RT socket adapters on a via?
Yeah, it sure does. So for the gentleman who asked that question, it does require an RT socket adapter for a via for us to collect that information. So we do just a standard connection to CMS into that database, and then we use the RT socket connection to connect the real-time data. And we're aggregating those data elements together to present out the end KPI, right, for the users in either their ticker or their dashboard.
Great, thanks, Greg. It's a great question on, how cost-effective is it for different size organizations. I work with a smaller contact center with 36 agents. Is this just as beneficial or cost-effective for smaller teams as for larger ones? And I can say absolutely. We have contact centers, that are 20 seats that are using this and putting, agent tickers on with just a connection to the ACD, right? So they'll put metrics in there such as calls in queue, handle time, transfers, holds, anything we can show there, service levels. That alone provides tremendous value, just having kind of real-time visibility, having everyone seeing that information. And then you can, add connectors to maybe your CRM system and, the one that I have in mind, they put in, number of claims processed, the average time to handle a claim, things like that. So there's a lot that you can pull in, but you can start super simple, and it does scale. The pricing scales, by size. So it's definitely cost-effective no matter what size you are. I think you'll be surprised how cost-effective the solution is.
And Patrick, I had a question come over to me, so I'm going to go ahead and answer that as well. One of the questions about quality assurance, and within our quality evaluation module, which we really didn't dive into here, but we did look at some of the reporting elements. Can you look at the quality management or evaluation data on a kind of per section level, per skill level? And yes, you can. We have, and again, we didn't share it in this presentation, but we have a robust set of reporting that's dedicated to the quality management platform that will really give you great insight into how the organization is performing. You can drill on the overall evaluation itself. You can look at the individual pages or categories you've created. And we even take it a step further by going all the way to the skill or the competency level. So you could look at overall organizational competencies based on skill associations that you've made to your questions. We've got a robust calibration module. So we have, again, like I mentioned earlier, we've got a world-class quality management tool that's built into the VPI product. And if you'd like some more information with that for the person who asked the question, please reach out to us. We'll be happy to share it with you.
Great, thank you, Greg. And then here's a great question on, in terms of internal resources to create tickers, dashboards, things like that. Does VPI provide services to help create these tickers and dashboards as well? And absolutely, we have a professional services team that's what they do all day long. They'll help with initial training, kind of get you up to speed. Sometimes we do train the trainer where you guys can, have someone train within your organization. But we're there to help in any capacity you need to help you create, the dashboards that are going to be most effective for different lines of business and different levels of your organization. Great question.
Okay, Patrick, it looks like there's still some questions, but we only have a minute or so left. So what I like to do is start to wrap up. And as a reminder, the recording will be available in about 24 hours. We will forward you the recording, so you don't need to request anything. You will automatically get that with the same email address that you signed up for. So if, Patrick, maybe if you and Greg can kind of summarize some of the most important points you'd like everyone to remember.
Yeah, just wanted to, again, thank you for your time and really encourage you to explore this tool further. I mean, I think you'll be amazed at the issues you can solve just by kind of, being able to make confident decisions on a single platform, pulling everything together and aligning your entire team. And so far, I mean, I do all the case studies within the organization at VPI, and everyone has just been incredibly pleased with the results. I mean, people are astounded by how fast the payback is, typically within 3 to 6 months on a tool like this. So, we look forward to the opportunity to working with you and partnering with you as a trusted advisor.
Thank you. Greg, do you have anything you'd like to add?
Just to wrap up and echo everything that Patrick said, and really my just closing statement is thank you. Thank everyone who attended. We value your time and your willingness to come and spend an hour of that valuable time with us, and we just really appreciate it and look forward to an opportunity to work with you more in the future and spend some time with you talking about your goals, your needs, and see how VPI can be a fit and form that partnership that we'd all love to have. So thank you so much to everyone for joining us today.
And thank you so much to Greg and Patrick and VPI for sharing their demonstration with us. And thank you all for attending and spending your hour with us this afternoon. So at this point, we will be closing down the session. Look for that link to the recording in about 24 hours. Have a wonderful rest of your afternoon. Bye-bye.